So I'm making this for Antonio Smith and anybody else who probably has the same question. He brought up a very good idea. His bike is pretty much like mine and mostly original. So the question is, what are we calling original? You might want to go back. Let's start with the first thing is today we call this a knucklehead. Well, when it was made, that name didn't exist. Not in print anyhow. We have no idea who first coined the term or when it first came into modern vernacular to finally go into print. Nobody knows this. Today we call it a knucklehead, but at the time it was made, it was called an overhead valve. Now here's the $64 question, if you will. Harley Davidson, as I pointed out in the invoices, never made anything exact. As you just noticed with the videos I made on the belly pans, I couldn't even put the red belly pan mix it with the green one. They wouldn't, the same thing, but it wouldn't fit. What the hell's up with that? They're hand-built bikes. So original, when we refer as my knucklehead is all original, this is what we're referring to. It is all original parts. It has original plating and original painting done at Harley Davidson, and it could have been modified with era accessories. Most of them were. Just like today, trying to find a 20-year-old bike that hasn't been modified from its bone stock configuration that Harley Davidson sent to the dealer is almost impossible. Trying to find a bone stock that's never been modified out of the crate motorcycle from the 40s, they're out there, they exist, they're incredibly rare. They usually have some kind of something that's been changed, and some of it has been changed where it's still a stock piece, but we don't know what if that was the actual piece that came in the crate, or maybe they put another one on. So we're talking about an original bike. It's got original paint, it's got original plating, okay, done at Harley Davidson. Doesn't mean that that one part or this one piece was not replaced at some time, but it's the original plating and original paint that Harley Davidson did with their accessories. Now, Antonio asked me about the rack. He said, my rack doesn't seem to fit. So bring it around here to the rack. This is a Comiskey rack. This is an era accessory. It's not a Harley Davidson manufactured product. And it fits over the fender rivets. This is how it fits. This is an era accessory. It is made to bolt on and be drilled that way. And he's all, well, I think my fenders are original because the guy got it from this and he got it from that. And I know the history of here to there, which maybe it still is, maybe it's still not. So we're going to go over to Champ here. We have a nice, beautiful open fender with no rack on it and a couple other ones. We're going to try and show you some stuff. First off, your fender rivets here are all in line. They're not over here. They're not over here. They're not like this. You got 1, 2, and magic third one over here. A lot of the aftermarket ones, this is out of place. Now that is not a specific tell-all, but if you see that, automatically aftermarket fender. Now, let's go over here. Let's see if we can get a good one and try to show you. Yep. If we can look right here, this here is curved. This is a rolled steel. It's curved. It's not flat pressed. This here is flat pressed. You follow? You see that sharp edge right there? This is a rolled edge. Now that doesn't mean they're not making some aftermarket fenders with a rolled edge. But if you have an old fender, you know it's old and it's got a rolled edge, you know it's real. Because back in the day, none of them, they've been making aftermarket fenders since the 80s, you follow me? Since the restoration movement. But none of the old fenders were rolled steel. So if you see a flat edge and a flat edge here, doesn't matter if it's a wide strap or narrow strap fender, irrelevant. None of your old school fenders that were made aftermarket in the 80s and 90s and so forth that I'm aware of ever had a rolled edge. So that's something all the Harley ones always have an rolled edge. You're looking for age. Has to have age. You're not going to have a brand new fender from 1947 that doesn't have some kind of indication of age, even if it's original paint. Like wow, shiny, if you really look at it really careful, and you might have to bring some high magnification, it's still original paint. I've seen them like oh my God, it's brand new. But if you put it under high magnification, you're going to see age as opposed to brand new paint done yesterday. So, and I was having a discussion with a friend of mine, Rusty Miller. He's all, you're 38, well, how are you calling it original paint? I'm like, yeah. He said, well, your tanks are NOS. I said, yeah. He says, well, how come it's got paint on it? Well, just like today, if I order a Harley tank from Harley, I can ask for a painted tank or a non-painted tank. And if I get a painted tank, I can say, well, I want this or that or that or this or that paint job on it for X and X and X year. Then they'll do it, no problem. But if I get a replacement tank for say 2000 and it's 2014, I'm going to get today's version of that tank. And they change. So if I order a 1954 Fender in 1958, I'm going to get a 1958 Fender, which is different with my 1954 paint job. You follow me? So yes, you can get brand new sheet metal with original Harley paint. And you can get it back in the day, on the year it was made, or you can get it years or decades later. So an original bike, well, they didn't come with spotlights unless you ordered it. When did the spotlights get mounted? Don't know. We have no proof of that. Here's Greenie. We got a replacement era rear leg from 46, a replacement Speedo from 46, a replacement horn probably done at the same time. Is it an original bike? In my opinion, yes. Okay, they're original Harley parts. They were replaced at the time because they broke in the era and time when it was ridden. Now, will it make an AMCA winner's circle? I don't know. Don't know. Is it original in my opinion? I'm the owner of the bike. Yes, it is original out of the crate. No, it's not. Is it original as it was ordered? Yes, we have the order accessory paint job. Okay. We have some other stuff which may have, you know, we don't have the original invoice. Guess what? Unless you're the Harley dealer, ordered the bike, and then we sold the bike, you don't have the original invoice. You got a bill of sale, which usually doesn't have the list of accessories. It only has a list of accessories if the dealer put it on after the fact. Because then the dealer's charging extra money. If you ordered it with your bike new and went on your Harley Davidson order on the invoice, you just got a bill of sale. It doesn't list any accessories. So there's a huge amount of confusion what this and what that. So what we have are era accessory stuff. Well, these are Harley bags. Well, they made plenty of aftermarket bags. As long as it's an era accessory that I could have got it within a rough 5-year period of when it was sold new, and this was available at the time, you can consider an original bike. Same with the seat, same with the bars, same with anything. Now, obviously it didn't come with this, and it didn't come with the fender tip. This bike here, as I pointed out, it probably did not have an original muffler. They probably sent them out without. You're running out of materials. What are you going to leave off? You're going to leave off the stuff that you do not have to send that bike out the door with. Well, guess what? It'll run just fine without a muffler. Why is there so many 46s and 47s missing the muffler? Most of your earlier ones have the muffler. Not all of them, but a vast majority of them. They have got the rocket ship muffler. Most of your 48s and 49s got the rocket ship muffler. Most of your 46s and 7s don't have it. Well, you got to add 2 and 2. Nobody's got all the invoices. Nobody. Not Harley, not anybody. They had them, but they seem to have disappeared. So either they're well hidden in the archives or they're well hidden in the trash can. We don't know yet. Hopefully, we'll get us a TV show and we can go really do some research. So I've got some magic invoices, and what we show is massive backorder stuff to the point where we got invoices of non-running motorcycles coming from Harley Davidson to the dealer. You deal with it. No primary chain. Don't know what to tell you. Your bike can run. Too bad. At least you got one. Be happy. So we got all kinds of accessory stuff. Accessory shift knob. That's accessory. Accessory pads. Those are accessory. Okay. These are accessory. That's accessory. This is Bates. That's accessory. These little little glasses. Those are accessory. The original Harley seat. Accessory spotlights. This bike probably didn't have them. They don't seem to have ever been mounted. I think they're new old stock. So, did it have a chrome headlight on it, or did it have a Magic Deets headlight like a lot of other 47s I've seen? I don't know, because I didn't get it from the original owner. Maybe Bob put it on. He already told me that he put these Flanders bars on and restored the bars. So these are not original to the motorcycle. They're original to the era, but they're not original to the motorcycle. And the Flanders bars themselves have been restored. With all original stuff, it's got the right original waffle grips and all that. So, in my opinion, if I ever get some unreplated Flanders bars, then I'll replace them. Or better yet, a set of NOS bars that are with all the stuff. But for right now, we'll just leave this bike like that. So, original to the era with era accessory stuff. Today we call it aftermarket. There's a difference between aftermarket and reproduction. A reproduction item is something that is reproduced today to simulate the look or condition of something from a previous era. So this is a real Harley-Davidson fender tip made back in the day, but they reproduced this tip. It's not quite the same, but it's a reproduction of. An aftermarket accessory means a non-Harley production item for a bike that is currently, or fairly currently has been in fairly current manufacture. In other words, if I have a 2005 Heritage and I go get an aftermarket accessory for it, even though this is 2014, it's still 9 years old, and they're still making parts for that on the aftermarket. That's an aftermarket part. It's non-Harley stuff. And even though this is a modern era, eventually those bikes will be a rare antique item. You know, we might be driving around on hover motorcycles in 2100. We don't know. That's 86 years from now. And those bikes will be a rare thing because they're not made to be restored like these bikes. So there you have it. Let's go have a look at a real Harley-Davidson rack. Now we've got several. This here is one of the accessory Harley racks that's very similar to the Comiskey rack, and you can see the difference here where it is made to mount by the rivets. This is a Harley-Davidson rack. Now they also offered this style rack here, and you can see how close it is to the rivet pattern here. This is the Harley-Davidson style rack. This is in the accessory catalog, so is this. And here's another Harley-Davidson rack that's in the accessory catalog. 1 year only catalog, 48. And not in all the 48 catalogs. Different catalogs have different stuff. You got to understand that. There wasn't one catalog for the year. They changed it up. This here is an accessory rack from Harley-Davidson as well. Totally different mounting pattern. All right. And you might get these are wide strap rivet, right strap fenders. You can see the curvature here. This is a cold roll steel. And you can see the flat stamping here. Same thing on the front fender. You have this flat stamping here. It was a flat press, and this is cold rolled steel, and then they bent the cold rolled steel into shape. That's how they made them. So those are the best tips I can give you on a video. A lot of the rest is opinion based upon experience of whether it's original or not. For those there, if you don't have that, you know it's aftermarket. Boom, done, see ya, hands down. You know, Champ's another good example. We have a motor lamp headlight. We have some era aftermarket horns. We have some little beauty type or little firefly type spotlights with some accessory brackets. Well, no, Harley-Davidson didn't send it out with these, and it didn't send it out with that, and it didn't send it out with that. Okay, we know that didn't happen. These are panhead 1950 bags. The orange trim gives that away for the year. It's era accessory stuff. These bags have been on there forever. So unless I get some killer, oh my God, bags that are just whoa, which is probably not, I'm gonna leave them on. That's what the original owner was riding around with. So now if I get a nicer seat that looks really good on the bike, then I'll probably swap the seats. Why not? I'm not changing the bike. I'm not changing the historical value of the bike. I put this little shift knob on because I thought it blended in good here. So it came with a black one, but I think that's neat. I had it, it was there, it goes good. So if I put a couple little era accessories on it, my own little touch, well, that's what all owners do to their machine. It's not hurting the history, but you got to keep it era specific. I'm not going to put a 1965 accessory on a 1942 Harley Davidson. So it's era specific, and I can't think of anything else to really add to that. So that's when you hear of somebody saying original Harley Davidson, that's the original era stuff. And for those purists out there, they're going to go, well, it's all original, but it's restored. That's okay. Nothing wrong with a restoration. And it's all original, but it's original paint. Okay, well, that's a different thing. It's all original, but it was repainted. Today, 1950, 1942. A repaint is a repaint. It's not an original paint. So it's got to be one or the other. So they all three have their own little value. So that's that. We'll see you guys in the next video.